Hey everyone,
Hello,
welcome
hello.
to Black Friday and Holiday Marketing webinar. I am Tim. I'm Foundy's head of advertising and media. If you've joined us for any of our other Foundy webinars, you've probably seen me before and heard me talk. But yeah, hello again. I am joined with Taylor from our team as well.
Hey everyone. Hope you're doing great today, and glad to be back. It's been a few months since I've been on joined one of these webinars, so it's good to be back with you. And would love to hear drop a note in the chat as to where you're tuning in from, and maybe what you're hoping to learn a little bit about holiday marketing today. I'm going to drop in. I'm tuning in from Charlotte, North Carolina.
And I am based in Los Angeles. Yeah, we're just going to take a few minutes and let some more people filter in here. So thank you all for being prompt. But we know a lot of you are busy, so yeah, we'll take a few more minutes just to let people filter in.
Hey James.
How's it going, James?
Yeah, and if any, we'll of course take a few moments towards the end of the session to answer any questions and, get into any details that you may want to. So feel free to drop a note or a question in the chat box, and we'll try to answer it maybe as we go. But obviously, if not, we'll definitely get to your question towards the end of the session.
Yeah, really looking forward to just any questions that you have. Feel like there's so many guides online for marketing for the holidays for Black Friday, but in terms of music specific guides, there's not that many. So we're really excited to do this webinar. Hey Michael, how's it going? Hey Terry, Buenos Aires.
Tuning in
Hey,
from all over.
awesome. We have a good international bunch today.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey Mac. Cool. Well, we'll get started in just a minute.
Is everybody ready for the holidays? Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about marketing, but the end of the year and holiday season is in full swing with Halloween being last night. So feels like it's closer than ever, even though we're still a month away.
I think the thing I'm looking forward to the most is all of the year-end best of 2022 lists that come out. Like, here's the albums that you missed, and here's the best whatever. I'm such a sucker for those. I love those.
Yeah, those are great. Definitely seeing everybody's Spotify Wrapped and
Yeah.
who's listening to what. And I'm curious because I feel like my listening habits have evolved this year quite a bit, it seems. So I'm interested to see what my Wrapped looks like this year.
Yeah, I feel like that's it's a bona fide holiday now, man. Like, just whenever that comes out, it's just the only thing that you see on social media for an entire 2-3 days.
Indeed.
Awesome. Yeah, Taylor, I think we can go ahead and get started.
Yeah.
Again, for those of you who just filtered into here, welcome to our Black Friday and holiday marketing webinar, where we're going to be going through some tips and tricks for holiday and Black Friday marketing, but also just generally some considerations that people should be making, things that will really help you be more efficient and more effective with your marketing, with your ads, with your communications, just making sure that you're able to reach your target audience when the airwaves are saturated with just communications and advertising from all sorts of brands. Obviously December and November, from Black Friday to the end of the year, is one of the most popular times for advertising. And so as a result, there's a lot out there. And so we're hopefully going to give you some tips and tricks to cut through that noise and reach your target audience. The first thing I want to talk about is a sort of a more general question before we get into the more nitty gritty stuff, which is I think the larger question of, do you need to have a holiday themed release or campaign to be advertising over Black Friday, over the holidays? We do some of these ask a marketing expert webinars, with Foundy, and people will ask us, hey, should I be promoting my song if it's not Christmas themed or whatever it is? And the answer is no. Historically, Black Friday and the holidays are an extremely successful time for streaming for all types of music. For everyone that for everyone that's out there that loves holiday music, there's just as many people out there who hate holiday music and want to get away from it all. There's a lot of Grinches out there, and so music of all sorts is really successful. People tend to be spending a lot more time at home over the holidays, away from work, with their friends, with their loved ones, and so this all contributes to a spike in streaming as people are at home and they have downtime to hang out with their friends and just have music on in the background. If we're talking about the period after Black Friday to Christmas to after, you have a lot of people who have brand new streaming devices, right? The new iPhone that just came out, their new Alexas or Google Homes or whatever it is. And so their new TVs that they just bought on Black Friday, some of these smart TVs are streaming capable devices. And so, yeah, we really see a streaming spike, after Black Friday, in the sort of holiday period. So, definitely be focusing on all of your marketing, not just, not only if you have a holiday release. Dorothy, I just saw your message. That's awesome. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? Dorothy is saying that holiday music is seeing a massive increase as reported by Apple Music. And yeah, I believe it. People are just streaming a lot. So with that out there, I'm going to get a little bit more into the sort of technical tips and tricks and considerations that you should be making, when you're advertising around Black Friday and the holidays. And again, if you have any interesting insights like Dorothy's, little tidbit right there, or any questions, please drop them in the chat, and we will answer them. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is just general trends around ad costs. This is something that we've touched on before and something that you may already be familiar with, but ad costs tend to increase, and ad costs when we're talking about the whole year are the highest generally between Thanksgiving and Christmas, with spikes on Black Friday, spikes on Cyber Monday, and really the week leading up to Christmas. Why is that? If you're familiar with how advertising platforms work, inventory, which is the spaces that your ad can appear on websites, on social media, all of these places where your ads can appear, essentially when ads are set up, the ad platform has a real-time bidding mechanism where, based off of what you designate your target cost per click and your target CPM as, the system will automatically bid thousands of times every single second to try to win bids for inventory on each of these websites. So you can think about, let's say, the top banner on rollingstone.com or something like that. If you can imagine, say that space is vacant, you have hundreds and thousands of advertisers all over the world who've all designated in their ad platforms that they want their ad to be on this website at this time, and this is their budget. And so the system is automatically bidding, on your behalf to try to win that inventory, with the highest bid winning. And then, if you do have the highest bid in, if your target cost per click or your target CPM is high enough, you will win that inventory and your ad will display there. And then there's your impression. So what happens is, because there's so many brands and so many advertisers that are putting up, Black Friday promotional messaging and holiday messaging, just in this sort of November, December time period, ad costs go up because there's more competitors, people are bidding higher. If you think about, the Super Bowl, for example, and those crazy, $1 million ads that you hear about every single year. I mean, it's those are so valuable because, not only because everybody's tuned in and watching the Super Bowl, but because there's so many different advertisers out there who really want their messaging to be there. So with more competition in the ad space, your ad costs are going to go up. This effect is compounded in a few different areas. I think specifically we see a massive hike in CPM, or cost per 1,000 impressions. We see a massive hike on paid socials. So if you're used to setting up ads on TikTok or Meta, Facebook, Instagram, we see something like a 45% increase in ad costs from Black Friday to the end of the year. Even compared to that sort of like Halloween, Veterans Day period, the sort of period before Black Friday, there's a lot of there's a lot of advertisers still online during that time, right? But we see a massive increase in cost per click and CPM on paid socials, on Facebook, on Instagram, things like that, from Black Friday to the end of the year. And again, that's because more competitors, more people are out there trying to win these ads, and also because I think that there's this misconception that paid social like Facebook and Instagram ads are really easy to set up. The system is designed for DIY people, not just brands, but DIY marketers to go and set up their ads. So because of that sort of that ease of entry, that low barrier to entry, there's a lot of people vying for that advertising space. So again, we see a big spike in costs during that time. So, with that said, what are some ways you can get your advertising out there, make sure that your communications are efficient and effective and not overspending, and still, reaching your target audience? The big thing I would say is to diversify from paid social, right? To diversify from Facebook and Instagram. Try using Foundy. We are a platform that has inventory on 95% of the internet. We like to say that if a website accepts ads and it accepts a third-party platform like Foundy to sell those ads, then we most likely have inventory on those websites. And again, with this huge spike that we see in paid social, diversifying from Facebook and Instagram and TikTok ads is really going to help your budget go further. If you have the same amount of budget that you're spending, diversifying from that is going to be really helpful.
Tim, when you mentioned that, I wanted to add in, in a lot of the conversations I've had with clients recently, just in general, they're seeing costs rising on Meta and on some of the social platforms. So obviously, in addition to thinking about the time of the year and the holidays and how all of this comes into play, one thing that a lot of folks out here that are really, I guess, not that they haven't been doing this, but are putting more emphasis on that diversifying. And that doesn't mean they're not going to be on social, but specifically when they're thinking about holiday campaigns and really trying to cut through that noise, it's also about where can they reach people, some of the people that might not be on social media platforms. And I think that's something important to remember, is that, you're talking about not only advertising on specific domains, but thinking about, people are shopping, and a lot of times they're shopping on, they're doing Google searches and looking more on the general internet, not just on social media sites. So it's a great time to really capitalize on that. To your point, and trying to find other ways to reach people outside of just that social strategy.
100%. I think music marketers especially can be kind of myopic at times and be like, yeah, I have a new release. I'm putting up ads on Facebook and Instagram because it's what I know to do, and I'm reaching a large amount of people on those platforms. But, I think there's this sort of large, call it a majority of people maybe, that are out there who don't use social media, right? Who aren't on Facebook and Instagram, or maybe they're TikTok or Snapchat users, or on some other platform that isn't Facebook and Instagram. So, really be thinking about when you're reaching an audience, it's think outside of, where can you most easily reach these people, but where are these people generally? And again, there are tools out there to help you target every single corner of the internet. So, and on Foundy, we have Foundy video ads, right, which even lets you target people who aren't, on their on their web and mobile devices. Maybe they are watching TV on their streaming device, and there's technological solutions out there that let you reach those people. So yeah, we talked about diversifying from paid social. Another tactic you can try is to spend marketing dollars now. Since we're seeing ad costs go up from Black Friday to the end of the year, if you can spend, get your advertising and your marketing in place now, and spend earlier rather than later, you are going to be getting those cheaper costs, especially any type of ads that ask your fan to engage or click through or take an action. If you can, get that stuff going now, it's your budget's going to be spent more efficiently and more effectively. You're going to get more results for the same budget. And this is something that I've talked about on a previous webinar, but in one of the recent Google search trends videos, they talk about how the window in which people are thinking about holiday promotions is getting longer and longer. This is why, it's the ongoing joke, right? Where you see Starbucks pumpkin spice lattes, they used to just be an October thing, and now it's like an August thing, that this window of people being receptive to seasonal promotions is getting larger and larger. So it really doesn't hurt to start your advertising early. It helps you cut through that noise for sure.
I would add to that. I think consistency is also important. So, right now we're talking specifically about holiday marketing, but I think something else that I hear people talking about a lot is, as opposed to maybe batching their strategies around just holiday, think about your advertising throughout the year too. And to Tim's point, like planning now and executing now, but doing it with also the forethought of how advertising now will impact holiday, right? So whether that's you're just promoting your general music right now, but then in a month from now or at the end of November, you can target all those people that you built that audience up with your general music promo, and then start pitching them with new content that is merchandise or something that's a little bit more gift related, if you will. So I think those are great points, Tim.
Yeah, totally. I'm going to be delving into that a little bit more, Taylor, but I'm really glad you brought that up. Music is now a sort of year-round marketing game, right? It's no longer enough to just be advertising your music, in the few weeks before your release. Growth for an artist happens year-round, and there's so much new music and so many new artists that are emerging that if you don't focus on growing year-round, there's a chance that you can be left behind. So. We'll touch on that in just a little bit. But a couple other, one other trend I guess I wanted to highlight as it relates to ad costs is we've talked about CPM going up from Black Friday to December. But things really start to spike in December. We see CPC, or cost per click, become something like 40% higher on average in December. And so again, just more saturated airways, more ads out there, ad costs are going to go up. But there's this one really interesting phenomenon that we see with ads, is that even though the cost per clicks, get more expensive in December, the video views as a metric, so the amount of people who watch video ads, whether it's an interactive HTML5 ad like we have on Foundy, or YouTube ads, or even TV ads, video view rates actually increase in December. So we see like a 56% increase in view rate from November to December. People are watching more of these ads and completing them. And there's a few reasons for why we see that. The first thing is, again, people are home for the holidays. They don't have that. They can't just be scrolling, for the sort of passive few minutes, while they're walking to the bathroom or whatever it is. It's people are at home. They have time to sit back and browse on their devices, and so we see video views and ad completions increase, right? Advertisers and brands also generally save their best creatives for December. And so, since November and December are just such big days for retail and for brands to make sales, they pour so much budget into perfecting their creative for November and December. And so, consumers in a way are trained, to know that the ads in November and December are generally better. They're funnier, they're more engaging. And so, we see video views again increase in percentage from November to December. And consumers as well are more likely to click around. Again, we're trained in November and December to explore our options. Oh, I see a deal here. Let me see, what this other person is advertising. Let me see if they have a deal that's comparable to this deal. So, we see an uptick in video view activity. Now, what does that mean for advertising? If we know that paid social and CPM based ads, become more expensive in during this time period, but video views are also, more successful during this time period, then maybe we should, one tactic we can try here is diversifying from paid social and focusing the ad budget on places where you're setting up video ads, where the main metric you are optimizing for is video views. We talked about this just a second ago, but Foundy video ads are a great tool here. That's, we have the opportunity for you to get your ad onto streaming devices like Hulu and Roku, as well as onto specific TV channels, everything from Adult Swim to ESPN to Disney, for less than 5 cents per completed view. So again, it's a great way to reach people outside of that paid social sort of funnel and, drive, more bang for your buck essentially. That's, I would say, those two things are just definitely really important to keep in mind. Is just ad costs really fluctuate during this time period. Video views really fluctuate during this time period. So focus more on the things that will drive more results.
I was just going to add, when you're thinking about that, is also, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but thinking also about how can you maybe shift that video content to be a little bit more engaging or more personal. I mean, I know I've heard from past clients that are executing campaigns, they're getting their artists, these are labels that I'm working with that are strategizing, and they're getting their artists to essentially create a very like at home iPhone or any phone video of them unpacking, a piece of merch or that new album or whatever it is, and then using that video, uploading it to YouTube, and then embedding that in an ad unit on some of these premium sites, because that is something that cuts through that noise of just the very overly produced commercial, if you will, to being a little bit more personal and drawing people in.
Totally. I've seen some really successful campaigns that are the sort of like anti-holiday campaigns. The people that are like, hey, we hate Black Friday. It burdens the sort of retail workers and it makes people's lives miserable. So we're just having a sale, for the whole month of November. Like those I've seen, some ad campaigns do really well with that. Some brands do really well with that. I think just from the chat alone, there's so many of you even just attending this webinar who say, yeah, we listen to holiday music here and there, but people get sick of it. You're tired of hearing it all the time. And so again, it's a great opportunity to diversify from that kind of content and for your music to really stand out. Natalie, I saw your message here about, your family plays, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation over the holidays. With Foundy video ads specifically, you can get your ad onto your Xboxes, your PlayStations, your streaming capable smart devices, which those are. And so if anybody on your PlayStation or if anybody playing PlayStation or Xbox or using their streaming apps that are within those machines, then Foundy has the capability to get ads onto those places.
Yeah, and thinking about long form content, Tim, like how many people specifically look forward to watching holiday movies? There's always those like those AMC like repeats of just like all day, Christmas movies or holiday movies. So that could be a great kind of out of the box thing to target, even if you're not marketing Christmas or holiday music. You could also be marketing. You could also be marketing your music to people that are watching holiday shows, even if they're not actually holiday related. The music's not holiday related. So
100%. I mean, yeah, the eyeballs are eyeballs, right? Like there's people watching the things. So, advertise whatever you want. I'm going to segue here into just talking a little bit more about just general tactics and general trends that will help with Black Friday and holiday marketing outside of just knowing the ad costs and how those fluctuate. So ads are, I would say, one part of the larger communication strategy around your marketing over holidays and Black Friday. Every successful marketing campaign, even outside of music, outside of this time period, is one where you are reaching people with multiple different touch points, right? That big successful blockbuster movie that you see ads for everywhere over the summer, you see an ad for it on your social media, but you also see it on a billboard, on the side of a bus, as a trailer before your favorite TV shows. The most successful ad strategies are again the ones where you can reach your audience with multiple touch points over the course of weeks, over the course of months. And so again, ads are just one part of the larger general marketing strategy for any communications around Black Friday and the holidays. So just touching a little bit on what are some other tactics you can be using to reach your fans during this time period, to reach your fans, existing and new fans. The first thing I would say is obviously social media. Create a marketing calendar to help you be more efficient and more effective with your communications. Try to plan out and plot out what you're saying, the content that you're sharing, as early as you can. So we're talking about, content like, countdown content, sort of reveals content if there's any sort of bundles or deals you're offering. Posting content as we near the end of the year, posting content that is that sort of really authentic reflections on your highs and your lows, stories that you want to tell, your favorite XYZ from the year. Make sure that you're keeping people engaged right over the holidays. And so have a marketing calendar where you're plotting out maybe twice a week or 3 times a week, you are offering something of value, a new piece of content, something interesting to help you form that emotional connection with fans. That's going to be really helpful for long longevity for your artist career. With anything, if you are using social media and you see a specific ad or a specific piece of content that's doing really well that you've posted, feel free to boost that, right? If something is resonating, that people like this piece of content, and you can put dollars on social media platforms to extend the reach of that. It's kind of necessary nowadays with how social media kind of holds your following hostage, but it's definitely one thing you can do to just really make sure that you're pulling all the levers when it comes to marketing communications. Outside of social media, I would also say think about all the places that you can message your fans that are not ads in social media, right? So I think Pandora still has the AMP program. I think it's Pandora Artist Marketing Platform or something like that, where for free you can upload little audio snippets of yourself introducing a song or telling people to check out your new album when they are streaming your music on Pandora. So that's another way you can message your fans. If you've ever sold anything on Bandcamp, there's the Bandcamp message feature, which allows you to message everyone who's ever bought anything or downloaded anything from you on Bandcamp. So that's another sort of way you can get in there. I think outside of Bandcamp, I think Beatport also has this capability if any of you are dance music people. And of course, email and SMS are your best friends. Use emails to message people who have shown an interest, right? Your email list is extremely valuable. These are people who, in offering their email to you, they're offering something of value to you because they have deemed that you are sort of worth it. Keeping updated with you is worth them sharing their data with you. So these are people who you can consider to be super fans, people that are willing to listen to your new music and buy things from you, buy merch from you. And so use those SMS and email lists. And one specific Foundy tool that you can use to also help with your holiday promotions is if you do use any Foundy landing pages, so any of our Foundy pre-save or music release pages, you can actually embed your Shopify store directly into that website. And so, you have your new song, listen now, all the different Spotify, Apple Music, DSPs, and at the bottom you can actually embed your Shopify store. So this is a really passive way to just drive sales, right? People who listen to your music, if you're already promoting your music, people who find your music and are listening to it can scroll down to that to the bottom of your release page and see your merch. You can complete the merch or physical sort of checkout funnel all within the page itself. You don't need to leave it, and it's really helpful for, again, driving that sort of passive revenue. One of our big label users says that it's their number 2 source of e-com sales across the entire label. So again, a really easy way to just collect that revenue from people who are already interested, people who are already listening to your music.
Tim, I was going to add, before you jumped, I forgot to kind of chop in on it, but before you jumped over, another thing that I know that many people may have received this if you have like your Spotify artist profile or whatever, but Tim and I were talking early about Spotify Wrapped, and they've just rolled out a thing where you can create a video that actually, I can't remember all the details of how it interacts with your fans, but maybe it's like if you show up in their Wrapped or whatever, then they can get like almost like a customized video from you. So you should definitely check out that as well. It's another great way and a new tool that they're rolling out this year to try and help, I guess, artists more directly interact with their fans as well.
100%. Yeah, Taylor, just right on the money, right? Just be messaging your fans every place you can. If the Instagram airwaves are super saturated with ads, if people can be reminded about your music from Spotify, that's amazing. Just continuing this trend of or this topic that of general tips that we should be thinking about over the holidays as well. So here are some tips as they relate specifically to Black Friday and actually selling physicals and merch. So just around Black Friday time, as you probably know, Black Friday is one of the biggest retail days of the year, especially as people are getting presents in preparation for Christmas. And so people want to know that their gifts are going to come for Christmas and Hanukkah and the sort of end of year holidays. And so now really is the time to be creating bundles and deals for people to shop. And again, you can put these in your Shopify store, put them on your artist website, advertise them, put them in your, just on your social media, wherever it is. I think that bundles, especially around Black Friday, are especially effective because people tend to be willing to spend more during the holidays. People tend to be, especially around Black Friday, if people think that they're getting a good deal on it because something is bundled, people will spend more. And so this is an opportunity for you, if you want to bundle your physicals with your merch, with the pre-order of your new CD or your vinyl, whatever it is, bundles that you sell at a higher price point, they help you, push that merchandise faster, and people are more receptive to it. So get those bundles and deals ready, as soon as you can. Start advertising them, as we've talked about, getting that marketing out there early. And so, that will really help you push merch around this time. But that's not to say that marketing activity stops after Black Friday as well. Some of the most successful November, December marketing campaigns are the ones after Black Friday, right? People, the advertising messaging around, if you missed it, or here's your last chance to complete this deal, or people hate missing out. There's that sort of FOMO, fear of missing out, sort of syndrome that everybody suffers from, where if you give people one final opportunity to make a purchase and to take advantage of this deal that they think is scarce and is limited and is going away, they will act on that. And again, we see streaming again spike after Black Friday as people are home and listening on their new smart devices. So again, a great opportunity to push your new music as well.
Yeah, and something to think about, this is a little not off topic, but when you're talking about Black Friday, I don't know how many of you realize, but also Record Store Day, they kind of started doing a thing in conjunction with Black Friday. So I don't know if it's in every market, but I know a lot of labels are looking at ways to partner. It might be a little bit too late this year to try and get some type of like official Record Day release submission, but but that doesn't mean that you can't try to work with your local record store and thinking about ways to maybe get involved or get your community or even local people engaged with your music by partnering with your local record store and saying, hey, I'm going to be at such and such record store, swing by and grab an album or CD or something like that. It's another good way to kind of engage around the holidays, but do it in like the small business Saturday kind of vibe instead of just blasting it out on the internet as well.
100%. Again, that's in person, right? Is another it's another channel that people might not be taking advantage of. When it comes to marketing their music, and it's again, Taylor's touching on this whole sort of topic of consumers really, the reason why so much there's so many sales that happen in Black Friday and holidays, that consumers, really are tuned in and sort of ready to engage around this time. They've been trained to for years and years and years by the big brands, and so you really should be taking advantage of it with music as well. Dorothy, I see you mentioned that early January is super good for music as well because people are home. Yeah, that's actually very, very true. We actually see ad costs fall dramatically after a Christmas. So, this whole webinar I've been talking about, Black Friday to end of December, ad costs really spike. I mean, we actually see some of the lowest costs of the year in January. And so it's a great time to be promoting your music as well. We see lower CPCs, higher CTRs, lower CPMs. There's actually still an extremely high volume of Google search and just general search terms that are related to brands and products, after the holidays. Yes, exactly, as well. People are broke from Christmas buying, right? Your sort of, expendable income increases after the holidays as well. So,
they received gift cards to Apple Music or something like that, so it is a good way. I remember that's something that oftentimes I would give my cousins is, instead of like some weird gift that I don't really know what they want, I would just give them an Apple Music gift card and they can buy whatever music they want to,
Totally. I think for a lot of people, holiday advertising is kind of inevitable and you have to do it, right? Maybe you have a big release or tour coming up that you're announcing in January. You want to be building those your marketing audiences and keeping your fans engaged over the holidays. So, that's extremely important. It's still important to advertise in December and November. It doesn't mean that you should just be completely silent because, as we've talked about, marketing is a year-round activity. And so, it's unavoidable for a lot of us, especially in music. But your budget does go pretty far in January, so that's good to keep in mind as well. I think on that topic of advertising for just thinking about advertising about music marketing being a sort of year-round endeavor now. Going back to the topic of what if you don't have a holiday marketing release, right? What if you don't have anything to sell? Again, it's extremely important to engage your fans over the holidays. It's extremely important to stay top of mind, to activate your audiences, to form that emotional connection with them. And so in 2023, you're setting yourself up for success and your fans are engaged and ready to pay attention. So what if you don't have anything to sell over the holidays, right? I think it's still important to provide content of value, to continue forming that emotional connection with your fans, to really, get your fans to love you and to love your fans, so that, they are again, they become the super fans over the next few months. That those are the people who, are willing to spend money and listen to your new music come 2023. So, what do I mean by content of value? We remixes, releasing things like remixes or covers or reimaginings of certain songs can be helpful. I think that this is kind of a silly one because we've been talking so much about what to do when you don't have holiday music coming out, but maybe it's releasing a holiday cover. Those what was that series of albums that came out in the mid 2000s, the like Punk Goes Christmas albums, where you have some crazy post-punk bands like covering Christmas songs. I think people, even the holiday haters, love that kind of content. So again, it's just an opportunity for you to connect with your fans, right? It's important to keep those fans engaged. Other sort of tactics that you can try are sending your fans, or if you have their emails, sending them a sort of holiday e-card, without even trying to sell anything. Just again, forming that emotional connection. We've talked a little bit before about how you should really treat fans like your friends, where take your friends, for example. If you only ever hit up your friends and text them when you're asking them to do something, sooner or later they won't be your friends, right? You need to form an emotional connection with these people outside of trying to sell them things, so that they will be emotionally invested in you and your music. And so reaching and communicating with your fans is the same way. Reaching, communicating with your fans and not trying to sell them something, just connecting with them through content is really going to be helpful for your overall growth. So sending your fans a holiday e-card, sharing your sort of year-end retrospective lists, the good things, the bad things about the year, your favorite stories, songwriting processes, lists of your favorite songs, that kind of thing. Asking your fans to respond and to share, their experiences and their highs and lows, goes far as well. And again, compared to other advertisers, if every other advertiser is out there trying to get people to buy stuff, and you're out here just trying to have a real, frank, authentic conversation with your fans, you will just seem that much more authentic because you're not selling something over the holidays. Find those moments where you can connect with your fans, right? Things like Instagram DMs, live streams. There's so much you can do to really make your fans feel special. Especially if you have time off work and you're at home, these are all things that you can do to really, again, form that emotional connection with your fans over the holidays. Let's see. I think that's pretty much everything that we had prepared for this webinar. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to just run through the chat really quick to see if there's anybody had any questions. James, I have a video about an experience I had busking. Yeah, that sounds great. Would love to see that. Wondering how I can put it out there. Your sort of, socials, YouTube, if it's a very engaging video that you think, works as a standalone video, maybe Foundy video ads or Foundy HTML5 ads are good as well. Send it out via email. Really, all of those sort of marketing channels that we talked about will be helpful. What is Natalie said? Name the top 3 best-selling that fans go crazy based on your experience.
Yeah, I can't tell. Is she asking us, or is she saying that's an idea of ways to engage your fans? Asking them what their favorites are, best-selling.
I think that's a good point, Taylor. It's so funny that whenever you put out any sort of list online, people go crazy about it. It's the people that are like, yeah, this is so true. And then the other half of people that are like, this is I completely disagree with this. Just putting any sort of opinion out there seems to just polarize the internet and polarize your following, and everybody has to chime in and give their 2 cents. So yeah,
well, it looks like she's asking us that question. I would say, from conversations both with labels and just knowing holiday kind of promotion and music, if you're talking specifically holiday releases, Mariah Carey is probably always in one of those top 10 lists. Her holiday album, the Charlie Brown Christmas Jazz or whatever is always a go-to. And I think in my experience in working with labels, as they kind of plan their strategies, it's definitely, as Tim mentioned, not always about holiday music. Of course, there are ways that you can, if you have holiday music, a way to kind of focus on that is put your holiday tune in a playlist with some of these other top listeners or highly listened to or streamed track throughout the holidays, and then start promoting that early. And to Tim's point, using an HTML5 ad on Foundy, you can actually embed that Spotify playlist that you've created coming from your artist profile or from your profile that is tied to your artist profile. And then with your song in there, if people start to listen to that playlist or add that playlist to their library, then that's going to increase your streams as well. So, those are, when you ask that question, like what are the top best selling, like I don't know if I have a best selling example, but I know those two, Mariah Carey's and Charlie Brown's Christmas album, are like two of the top streamed Christmas albums probably of all time.
Totally. I mean, I know like the Charlie Brown Christmas, they like re-release it every single year with like a new limited color, variant vinyl. That sells, right?
Yeah.
I worked on a campaign for Lindsey Sterling, who's a YouTube violinist, a couple years ago. She released a holiday cover or a holiday song, and then used that to then drive streams and sell merch. And so, your content that you put out for the holidays, the holiday cover doesn't necessarily have to just live and die during this time period. It can also be something that you release and use to drive revenue as well. If you want to.
Well, and it could be evergreen because you could record it this year, but every holiday season promote it again, because that is what, that's holiday music for you, right? So whether it is switching up the branding a little bit to be more fresh and new, to Tim's point, with the re-release of an album in a specific color variant or whatever is one thing, or if it's just like freshening up that album image, cover image that shows up on Spotify, and or adding it to a playlist, So a couple other questions. Let's see. So James was referring back to a performance at a local NPR affiliate. Yeah, I think, if it's like a whole kind of like Tiny Desk where you have multiple songs, you could definitely chop it up and do multiple videos, or you could do one video where, people can skip to each song as well. As far as promoting it, I think obviously you can always do on platform YouTube, but we have the HTML5, embed that. We released a case study, what was it, a month or two ago, with the band Collective Soul. They released some new music over the summer, and they ran an ad through Foundy and used their latest single in their YouTube video. They had an average watch time of something like 2 minutes and 1 second. So, and the thing to remember is that when you embed those players, all those plays, if people are logged in, well, with YouTube, you don't have to be logged in, but all those plays report back to your profile on that platform, the streaming platform. So that would be, James, that would be something I would consider. I just rolled out a video from a festival that I played earlier this year on YouTube, and I'm running an ad with it. I'm still driving people to my landing page that has all the streaming DSPs and those things, but it's a great way to try to reach new fans with kind of a new, different video as opposed to just a Spotify player. So
totally. And Taylor, I noticed that Natalie asked a question which kind of touches on this as well. What's the best way to promote my music video? And again, just sort of echoing what you said, if you have a music video with various different scenes, feel free to cut scenes from it and share those over the course of weeks or even a month. Different clips from the music video. People can watch it on socials, watch it in an ad, and then drive them to your overall music video where they can watch the whole thing. I think you'll find that different visuals, different music, whether it's part of a set or even just part of one music video, will appeal to different audiences. And so putting out different creative out there that can appeal to different audiences and then drive them back to watching the longer piece is definitely effective, and it's tried and true for all artists.
Yeah, I think that's something that is so valuable when you're thinking about promoting music videos. I mean, of course you can put it, and you should put some of it, whether it's a promotional clip or whatever, on social, but thinking about the value of reaching people on these premium websites like a Rolling Stone or American Songwriter or Pitchfork, whatever it is that speaks to the genre of music you're promoting. I just find so much more value. And even if the cost per that engagement or click is slightly higher on those premium outlets because it's premium advertising, to me, it's that much more sticky. If somebody is on a music publication and sees my video and clicks play, they're that much more likely to actually become, if they enjoy the music, become a true fan. And they're not just somebody that happens to see it in a stream or in a feed or in a story and then just like quickly moves on to the next thing because they're engaging in music or culturally relevant content. So it's a great way for sure. HTML5 embeds. I love them.
100%. So yeah, if we don't have any more questions, I think we can wrap it up there. But again, thank you all so much for attending and for the questions and thoughts. We're going to be sending out a recap of this webinar sometime this week with just some quick tips on advertising if you didn't if you missed any of it. And yeah, good luck with everybody's holiday, Black Friday, marketing pushes. We're hoping to see some cool stuff from y'all. So yeah, good luck with that.
Yep. Thanks everybody. Happy marketing and advertising, and we'll see you next month.
Cool. Bye.
Cheers.